All right, welcome back to another episode of the Pin High Podcast presented by Golficity. It's the 100th episode. It has been 100 weeks of the Pin High Podcast, so thank you if you have listened to every single one of our episodes, or sorry, I'm not sure which one it'd be. But yeah, this week, obviously, we're recapping the Ryder Cup. Great week to recap with the 100th episode. And we're also going to make some picks for the Sanderson Farms Championship. And to cap off the episode, we have a very special 100th episode announcement. So let's get into it.
This is Jordan Spieth here, and
this is the Pin High Podcast.
So let's get inside the ropes. USA wins the Ryder Cup. I feel like that's right off the bat what we got to talk about. I woke up on Friday morning at a crisp 7:45 in the morning, had nothing to do because I was not working the Ryder Cup. That's what I texted in the group chat that morning. I was like, the one perk of working the Ryder Cup and not actually being there is that I get to watch the whole thing. And now right off the bat, you had just so much electricity, and it really continued the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, kind of dominant by the U. Not even kind of dominant, like really dominant by the USA.
Start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, usually how it's been going for the US is they play well in the first session on the first day, and then the second session is where it all goes kind of downhill. But they dominated the second session, the third session, the fourth session, the fifth session. I mean, it just was dominant the entire way. So good for the US. I mean, the whole chemistry thing wasn't really an issue. I mean, you saw Bryson and Brooks hugging at the end of it. Like they wanted to play together as well. So like that was a total non-factor the entire time.
We have to talk about the press conference. I was hearing about it yesterday, but obviously there's NFL football going on. I was just packing because I am now back at the Ryder Cup, naturally. And so I watched it during my layover today. And DJ was about as blacked out as I've ever seen a professional athlete on live television.
Yeah.
Picture of him holding the trophy, like the Nicholas Jacqueline Ward, whatever it was. Picture of him with that trophy. He looks so gone.
He's not there. He was just fully gone.
There's lights on. No one's home in that picture.
He was slurring the whole entire time, and everybody around him, like Brooks and JT, were just dying. It seemed like it was almost as if you're watching one of your buddies try to talk to one of your friend's parents while really drunk, and you're just standing there watching with your friend, and you're just like, this is awesome, because he's talking to a whole entire nation.
You're just laughing your ass off the whole time,
and you're just laughing because he just is making a fool of himself in the best way possible.
And it's funny because he wasn't even the first match that was done. He was right in the middle of the sixth match done. So
and they're asking
quick too.
Somebody asked him, was like, okay, so you're a veteran, you're 37. Can you still outdrink these guys? You still got the stamina? And he was like, he's like, abso. And then he goes, absolutely. Because
I posted that on our TikTok. It's on our TikTok if you want to see that video.
It's that press conference was awesome. And
DJ, I'm just curious, you being the oldest player on the team, do you think you still have the stamina to out party all these guys tonight?
Absolutely. Next question.
Two things I have to take away from it actually was one. Actually, I have three things. One, Tony Finau, kind of a weird guy, just kind of a weirdo.
I mean,
in a good way.
He's a Mormon.
Yeah,
he's one of you.
That's not genetic. That's a whole different discussion. But two, Harris English and Daniel Berger. Daniel Berger, I saw him on there, and he got mentioned by one of the players. They would call him Boog. And then like the third thing was I didn't see Harris English until after I realized. I was like, wait, was Harris English there? Was he there during the press conference?
I
Yeah,
think
but
so.
he's like probably the least interesting
I
guy
did
in that
not
whole
see him
press
though.
conference compared.
I watched.
He was
40
there. He was
minutes of this
definitely
press
there.
conference.
He's
And
he's definitely he was definitely required to be there.
Yeah,
I
just
know,
Look
I
at the
in
picture of
back,
G background.
probably.
He's in the background. He's definitely there.
I know. I really did not see him because he didn't. I know for a fact he didn't talk once.
Well, yeah, I mean, he lost his
Oh,
match on Sunday. They didn't ask him.
Neither did
anything.
Daniel Berger. He
Why
didn't
would
talk,
they?
but he was. I saw him like.
I kind of felt bad for Daniel Berger going out in that last singles match. It's like the energy was like someone made a putt, just wasn't there. No one like everyone knew it was gonna be over before that match, and it was just like they're just going out and playing around the golf. And
I mean, he did win on the
I don't
last
know.
hole at least. Like
He did,
there
yeah.
was that.
He did win the last hole, but
Kind
it
of
was
cap
just
cap off the week.
yeah, and made the biggest margin victory ever, which is
Yeah, true.
kind of crazy to think about. I mean, this team, it was just like top to bottom, just utterly dominant. The only person who could do anything for the Europeans was Rahm, and then Sky Scheffler goes in and wins the first like 5 holes against him on Sunday.
Yep.
Like that's just no one would have expected that.
Match
Nobody.
play dog.
He was
Sky
the only
Scheffler.
dog.
Yeah. We called it too. We knew he was going to be a dog.
was our guy.
He was awesome. He was awesome. He did exactly what he needed to do, which was be the guy paired with Bryson. When you won a couple matches, I think we won. I know he tied a match, I think, and then won his other 2 matches, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I mean, that's all he needed to do is just play those 3 matches, and he beat the best player in the world. So,
And whatever.
how
I
about a
mean,
week for him?
and then going over to the Team Europe side, I mean, I guess you have to say Rory McIlroy just did not have a good week. Had
First
an awful
day
week.
putting was so brutal.
And Rory not having a good week
the
was
first day you
pretty
could
much
tell
it.
like he was done. Like,
Like
it
if
was
Rory
it.
doesn't play well, Europe wasn't going to play well. So I mean, that's just they roll with Rory and Rahm, and Rory didn't play well at all. Like he had to sit out a match on Saturday. Like who would have thought that
Which
Rory
you
would be sitting
never-
out a match?
Which to me again, it's like I was talking with my other friends about it, but like I think even if Rory's not playing well, like what are you gonna play Lee Westwood over him? Like I think that's just I don't like that call
Bernd
at all, to
Wiesberg.
be honest.
Which
And
whatever.
Bernd
Bernd
Wiesberger,
Wiesberger was exactly
even
what you thought
Fitzpatrick.
he was. He was.
I mean,
exactly
whatever.
what
It was
exactly.
there was some
Yeah.
pairings that were just like didn't really make sense for
No.
Padraig Harrington. I mean, especially how you mentioned Lee Westwood and Matt Fitzpatrick as a pairing. They weren't gonna
on
win
a Bombers
against
Paradise
anyone.
course.
And they went against Shoffley and Cantley.
They had
first day
absolutely
or
zero
whatever.
chance, zero
Yeah.
chance to win.
I don't
that
think I
match.
lost a Ryder Cup bet this weekend.
I mean, if
I-
you bet
I think
heavily
I
on
was
the
losing them out of
US,
them.
it's hard to lose. They won most of the matches.
Yeah, fair.
I think it was pretty. I think it was like even on paper, if like most of the matches, especially I know it's like Saturday, or yeah, right. The first 3 sessions, especially, you could literally look at all the matches and say, okay, we're gonna win this one, this one, this one, and we're gonna lose to Rahm, and that's exactly what happened every single one. And then
pretty
like
much.
that's all you need to do. Like that's like you could have said that for every like Xander and Cantlay, they're gonna win. DJ and Morikawa were unbelievable. They're gonna win. Bryson and Scotty 1-1 and tied
I mean,
one. I
DJ
guess. And
went
JT
5-0.
Yeah,
DJ had
that's
a week.
unbelievable. Morikawa was undefeated. Xander was basically undefeated until he lost to Rory, which I think Rory had kind of something to prove in that last match, which I like seeing him in the emotional press conference afterwards. That was really cool.
Because half of it was like, oh, this is awesome. Like this whole experience is awesome. It's great being part of these guys. Half of it was like, I really sucked this week. And it's nice to get a win, obviously.
Yeah.
Like to start, but he was like, it was half also like a little bit like, wow, like I could see him coming out next time. Obviously, not only just because he's a good player, but next time in Italy, in Rome, they're building that golf course right now, by the way, apparently.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's not even
sick.
done. And
Yeah,
I could see him coming out with just like
redo it
so
all.
much fire because he is like the US this year, like they were so pissed that they didn't take it home the last time.
And whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, the rookies had a week as well. I mean, I'm reading here the rookies were 14, 4, and 3 this week. Mark
Overall?
Howell, yeah, overall, Mark Howell
Like
was
US
3
and
0
Europe?
1. Just the American rookies.
American rookies, yeah.
Mark Howell was 3 0
There's 6 of
1.
them.
Cantley was 3 0 1, and Scheffler was 2 0 1. So that's 3 American rookies who didn't even lose a match.
Yeah, they were saying like during the press conference, like, yeah, Scheffler's like kind of the only real true rookie.
Right.
If you
I
really
mean,
think
I
about
guess if you say
Harris English too, a
But
little bit.
he's not young.
No, he's not young, but it's
In
his
terms of
first.
experience,
I mean,
team-
Colin
first team
Morikawa in terms of
event.
experience
but
is
he's
young.
won 2
Yeah.
majors.
I know, but he's still a rookie.
I know you. I know what you mean. Yeah, Scheffler
I'm not
hasn't
I'm not
won
the
a
one who
PGA
said
Tour
this.
tournament.
It's like other people were saying it. Yeah.
I understand that. It's just like Scheffler hasn't won a PGA Tour tournament, but it's like you look at would you take Sky Scheffler or Harris English on one like in
Scheffler.
2023? Scheffler, you're taking Scheffler. Like he's gonna be like you. I'm so glad we're so
Harris
glad he was
probably
picked.
will not be on this team in
perfect.
2023. I love the guy. He's actually grown on me tremendously over the past
Yeah,
2 months.
which again he played his role to perfection too. It was him and Finau and the 4-ball, and they won a couple matches, and I think they lost one match. I think that was the Shane Lowry match where he flipped the putter on the ground. That was really cool. But like that's all you need to do was just play 3 matches and win 2 and lose 1. That's it.
And I'm kind of excited to see next time. I mean, obviously this is a ways away. And I also honestly don't know how rowdy the European crowd will be in Rome, Italy,
sure they
because
will
there's
be.
no. I'm assuming
they'll
it will.
travel there.
I know they will. Obviously, they will, because it's actually like it's like traveling from people from California went to Wisconsin. Like it's not that bad within Europe. So we talked through that right there. But I'm excited to see guys in the US be doing the like I can't hear you, like the shushes, like that'll be fun.
Well,
and I'm just excited to see
Jordan-
like who's gonna be on the European team, because like they had a lot of older, like US team was very, very young. The US team is probably gonna be a force for the next 10 years or so, because they're all like in their mid-20s.
Victor
The
Hovland
European
was
play
team
the
is pretty
predicting game?
old. I mean, like
do we want to play the predicting game? Predict who's going
it's
to be on
tough.
the team?
What
I
do you
mean,
think?
just to say that, just to put one more stat in, I mean, the European rookies in this tournament went 1, 8, and 2 compared to the Americans 14.
Victor
4,
Hovland
and
was on
3.
nobody's radar in 2018.
That's true. Oh, yeah, the European. I meant more so just for the U.S. team, but we already know Rahm, Rory, Hovland are
So
basically
I actually have
locks
one for the
European team.
So Rasmus Højgaard is, if I'm not mistaken, he's 20.
I've heard the name.
And he
I've
was
heard
close.
the name before.
He was close. He could have been swapped out with Wiesberger. Like he was close to making the team. Or he could have been swapped out with like Poulter, but Poulter was just like a
Poulter.
pick.
Well,
Yeah.
Poulter was
Wiesberger actually deserved it more. Wiesberger qualified, so
he qualified.
he
that was dumb to
qualified.
say, I guess. But I saw like this Instagram post about Rasmus Højgaard. I should probably look it up if he's actually 20, but if so, he's had some
Super young.
great
He was
year.
20. Yeah, he was 20.
Yeah. He's got a silky swing. So, come 2023, I feel like he's probably on this team if he continues.
He's probably going to have to be just because of Westwood. Like Westwood should not be on their team just because of, even though like if he has a good year and qualifies, that's fine. But like if you're a captain picking a team for the Ryder Cup in 2023, are you picking Lee Westwood who's like 50 years old?
Yeah, one thing about
not?
Rasmus Højgaard is he actually has a brother, Nikolai Højgaard, who was 22nd in the standings. So maybe you bring both of the brothers.
Jeez.
And then also it's going to
And
be,
then bring the
that'd be a
Molinari
sick
brothers
tandem.
on.
and it's going to be in
Yes.
Italy.
Oh, you have to
So
bring.
it's going to be in Italy.
where's,
So
Guido?
Migliozzi is probably going to
Guido.
be a
Why
big
was
player for
Guido-
that.
Why was Guido not picked?
I don't know. He was
Obviously,
10th in the
okay.
I don't know.
standings.
We haven't heard
He's
from
10th.
Guido since basically the U.S. Open.
He was 10th in the
or even a little
standings.
bit past
Bro.
that.
They decided to go with Lowry and Westwood and
Poulter.
Poulter and like instead of those guys, which
I mean, also
Agree.
these European guys go up and down a lot more than I'd say the US guys
Yeah.
do. But I think like a guy like Guido could. I think Francesco Molinari by then could come all the way back.
I think he's
maybe.
gonna have motivation. Looking forward to that. Honestly,
I think guys like
looking forward to
Westwood
playing.
and Poulter like
I
fall
think
off
they're
like a
done.
Mickelson has.
And maybe
they're
a
done.
player like Robert McIntyre becomes like a force.
I would
in the
love to
next
see
few
Robert
years,
He's
because,
young.
he's been a
McIntyre,
pretty
yeah.
good player.
Oh, is he
Would
older?
love to see
Is he
him.
younger than us?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's that young,
Might
but
be-
he is young. He's early 20s for sure.
Yeah,
And
he's,
I think Shane
25.
Lowry.
Okay.
I think Shane Lowry's a lock for the team in a few years. I think he's a good player for the team in a couple of
Shane
years.
Lowry.
Yeah, I think he'll be good in a couple of years.
I mean, it's tough to predict in a couple years.
No, it
who's
is.
Gonna
It
make a
definitely
run.
is.
Like Pat
Like,
said,
who-
Victor
who
Hovland
else-
wasn't really on the radar.
But who else is going to make a run like on that team? It's like you have Rom, Rory, and Victor, and then like the rest of the spots are basically up for. You have Fleetwood. Fleetwood's there too, but you have like most of the rest of the spots are up for grabs.
And
It
whatever.
could
I
be
mean, the course this time
anyone.
around did not set up very well for the European players, and we
No.
said that going into it, and we knew that. So maybe next time around, the course sets up a little bit better for them, and you have at
That's
least a
why
little bit of a closer.
that's why the
edge.
whole Westwood Fitzpatrick pairing like just didn't like without Rory like just it just didn't make sense on a whole lot of levels.
Yeah, and like whoever's the captain next time around is going to have a lot of decisions to make when it comes to picking the team Europe, and I'm actually kind of excited to see how that plays out in the next couple of
Yeah.
years, because you know who's
All right,
going to be there
US
for the
team then.
Americans.
Yeah, U.S.
So-
team then.
Let's move on to the Brooks and Bryson thing.
Okay.
I will. Here will be my opening statement to it. I've been vocal about the past couple of weeks about how much Brooks and Bryson have annoyed me, and like how much I like at the beginning of their little feud, I was like, oh, I like both of these guys. It's just like they're feuding. I guess they don't really like each other. And as it went on, I was like, these guys have become so unlikable. And post Ryder Cup, I think my take is that like the media just paints it as so much bigger than it is. And the media paints so many things that they do way more dramatic than they are. And that like, yeah, okay, Bryson's a little bit weird. And Brooks is like, kind of like I don't know how to describe it, but he's just like kind of that guy. But neither of them are really that bad at the end of the day. And neither of them really hate each other at the end of the day. Maybe they're a little bit annoyed at each other, like any freaking people is. You're annoyed by your friend, even your friends all the time.
Mhm.
I'm back in on both of them.
Okay, so let me pose this question: did we get played by them?
I don't
Did they
think
do
so.
this? Did they do
No.
this?
I
On
don't think it
purpose?
was.
I don't think
I don't
so.
think we got played. I don't think we got played.
I've seen that so many
I
times.
think-
I'm like,
I
no,
think
I don't think we got played.
I don't think that's something. I don't think that's something Brooks would do. I think
Bryson
Brooks is
might, but Brooks
genuinely
would be like,
kind of. No, I think Brooks doesn't care enough to like pull out a whole ruse to play everyone for the like months. Like we've been.
I mean,
this has
$40
been going on
million
since basically
is a lot of
May.
money. So
No, it is a lot of money, but he doesn't like he's also Brooks Koepka. Like he doesn't like need like the extra whatever, however much money. Like
even though
he's
he's promoting Michelob Ultra on every single one of his Instagram posts for the last like year.
they give him
I
so
mean,
much money, probably.
yeah, because like I said, he has enough money. I don't think he cared enough to pull a ruse. I think he genuinely at one point with like the whole Kiwa thing did not like Bryson.
He's probably just annoyed with him.
And I think and
I
then
mean, definitely.
Bryson's obviously
Doesn't mean you hate
Bryson's
me for
obviously
life.
kind of Bryson, which I will say this event, like just this whole spectacle, the Ryder Cup is like perfect for Bryson. Like people actually cheer for him and not like jeer at him most. I think Europe will be interesting to see, but everyone loves him in this just because of, I mean, driving the green in that match against Sergio on Sunday and making the putt was unbelievable. Like that might have been the moment of the tournament.
I mean,
He's
the
walking
best
off the green
thing
with the putter in his hand. Like that was awesome. Like that made me like Bryson. Like this tournament made me like Bryson more than I did in the past. But I still think he's just kind of can he be like kind of like a pest.
he's like the
kinda.
annoying little brother, I guess is the best way to put it. But
Yeah.
the best part
exactly,
about
yeah.
that, like
That's
his
the perfect
personality came
analogy.
out came out a lot this week on the golf course. I mean, the best part was like he was deciding between a driver and a 3-wood, and he puts the driver back, and everybody in the crowd starts booing, and he just goes, "Hey, don't worry, guys, I'm still going for the green." Like, and then everybody like cheered.
Yeah,
And,
like
it's just
his emotional like outbursts are perfect for the Ryder Cup. Like you
Exactly.
want to see guys with emotion. You want to see the JT like saying I can't hear you. You want to see Bryson going crazy and like whipping out the driver and twirling it in the air to get the crowd going. Like that's what makes the Ryder Cup so awesome.
I think
He's
JT
perfect for
yeah.
it.
Speaking of JT, I'm gonna
I
switch
think
my
he got the crowd
background.
the most pumped. He's the most energizing guy throughout the week.
Yeah, he definitely
Yes.
was. I'm gonna switch my background for a second. How about this shirt by JT? Let me
You lean
scoot
out of the way.
Was the
Yeah,
Brooks and Bryson, right?
It's the Step Brothers. Yeah.
I need to get that shirt. I
mean,
need to get that shirt.
This picture pretty much just shows you what JT was this week to the US team, pretty much.
Do we dare say, I know he's a lot better than this guy I'm going to compare it to, but is he, I heard this today and it actually made a lot. Sorry, I saw this. I heard, I don't know, I forgot where it was from, but is he the US version of Poulter? Just going crazy, like just absolutely crazy after he's much better than Poulter,
maybe,
obviously.
in a
But like
way.
he like the better, like just crazy hype man kind of stuff.
To begin the tournament, he gets paired with Spieth and he loses. In the second match, he's down a lot. They're down 3 through like 11, maybe even. I forget what it was, but
Find that for you.
he's down bad. He's like down bad, like he's a little bit like pissed, and he makes like a 42-foot putt to win a hole, and he got so pumped up that like he was feeling so much emotion, like he was like screaming that you could see his eyes. They were just full of water.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't
That's
crying.
like that's
He wasn't
that's
crying,
what
but he was
we
feeling like
need.
so much emotion that his eyes were literally just like full of
And
water.
the best part about that is he was partnered with Patrick Cantley, who's like almost the complete opposite.
But Cantley,
Emotionless.
And it was kind of a good
animated throughout
pairing.
the
No, but
tournament.
Cantley was awesome too. Okay, Cantley
Yeah.
was a lot of fun to watch. Like there was no, like from what I could tell, like the only guys that didn't really do even a ton of celebrating was like I didn't see a whole lot of I didn't see a whole lot of Harris English in general, and then in DJ just kind of does this little like fist that he just holds in the air for the entire time he walks to the ball.
DJ is another guy,
which is cool. I think
have
that's
seen
cool.
So much. I think he has made his way into my like top 5 favorite players.
he was unbelievable, and he was just
not because of his play, because
Yeah.
I had always heard that DJ was this like off the course, like just like, like he's a fun guy or whatever, but like I was like, okay, but is he actually? Because every time he talks, I'm just like, but
Yeah,
like
I get
guess
that.
that's just how some people are with the media. Like people are not themselves with the media all the time.
And I honestly, I
And
think it's
seeing him in that
hilarious
press
that he's like
conference, I was
that with the media.
I love this guy. If you want to compare him to someone that is me during the Hilton Head trip at Hibachi.
Oh, Hibachi.
Train up the
Oh my
crowd.
God. Forgot about
Lights
that.
on, nobody home.
Yeah, lights
Yeah.
on, no one. No, he reminds me of like maybe a weird comparison, but he reminds me honestly of like Marshawn Lynch. He just like gets in, answers his questions, and just like doesn't
Trying to feed my
really
community.
care at all. Yeah, he doesn't care at all, and it's just like I agree. I like him a lot more after this week. He's just so like it's underrated how much fun he is with the media, which is like short little like
Yeah. It's
short
almost
little
like
answers. They're
business.
just so
Yeah.
obvious, but so like not what the media was looking for. It's perfect.
And whatever, in hindsight, just like after watching this tournament, I understand why they left Patrick Reed off the team. It makes so much more sense now.
It's just kind of like
Why?
it did make so much sense.
Because like the team came together this week. I don't know if it would have happened with Patrick Reed there.
Like, if you take Patrick Reed and put him on the team and take Scotty off the team, like who pairs? Like
Well,
someone will
you
go
gotta
with
say-
Bryson, but who goes with Bryson?
Sure, there's some individuals on the team. Like Brooks and Bryson they're individuals at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
agree.
don't like not taking away anything away from either of them. I'm not taking anything away from them. Both probably still loving the event, but they're great individuals. But like they've
But
never done anything that's super unlikable like Patrick Reed has, like cheating
yeah,
or
there's
allegedly stealing or having teammates notably dislike them or having just all the things that Patrick Reed
calling
has, like.
out calling out the captains after not being paired with Spieth
Yes,
for the Ryder Cup
exactly.
and everything. Like that's it's one thing to have Brooks and Bryson drama. It's another thing to have that, and like that's like necessary. Like this, that's the kind of stuff that would actually like tear a team down and stuff like that's why he wasn't on the team, which is perfectly reasonable. And I'm happy Stricker didn't put him on the team.
Yeah, and just looking at the ages of all the players and the quality of all the players, it's going to be really competitive to get into this U.S. team over the next 5 to 10 years.
Reed
So
might
I mean,
so
it could be
be
so
one of those
hard.
So
guys
we-
that
so-
just
so-
plays his way in, because like you saw it this week. You just you pick guys who fit together.
Exactly. All right, so who's because I know the U.S. team is still like young, not on the team. Who's the guy? Who are a couple of guys that are not on the team next time around?
I mean, it's tough
I think
to
one
say.
name comes to mind.
It's
I think Harris English is the obvious one.
but he played well.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not-
Harris
it's
English
like
wins
that's the
twice every
thing.
year. Like
But,
he's going to keep
you
making
think,
the team.
You think of
It's all-
the other
yeah.
11 guys. They're all like
don't
they're
think-
all either on the cusp of winning majors, have won majors, or like in Sky's case, he's probably the lowest one below that, but he's still like on the rise. And
Here's the thing.
he's gonna win a tournament
Harris
this year
English
for
and
sure.
Daniel Berger are going to be those guys that you were like, oh, they were on the Ryder Cup team. And
Yeah,
that's no disrespect to them. It's just like
no.
there are so many good Americans coming up in
Oh my
like
god, yeah.
throughout golf, and so many good young players in general coming up, that there's just it's going to become so competitive that
Yeah,
maybe
this
somebody
team's
else
so
on the
set
team
up.
might not.
I
make
mean, there's players out there, like there's not a lot of players out there that have something that they do so well that they're going to make the team. I mean, the only player I could keep in mind is Matthew Wolf. If he like starts to play well and plays well enough, he
What
has
about-
the distance.
What about Will
that
could be a really
Zalatoris?
good.
or Will
Zalatoris-
Zalatoris with
Will
his approach game.
Zalatoris would be amazing.
Yeah,
Like
well,
it's
except for
like
the putting part.
there's but like you said, like outside of Harris English and Daniel Berger, which are like great players. I think Berger's awesome too. Like those are 10 guys, like they're gonna be around for at least like 5 more years, especially like at the very minimum, just because of
Exactly.
DJ, like maybe getting a little bit older, but Jordan, JT, Xander, Cantlay, like they haven't even won, like Xander and Cantlay haven't even won a major yet, and they're still like mainstays in the Ryder Cup team for years to come now.
Mhm.
Right, and then you
it's
have
just-
guys on
and
the
Bryson,
outside.
like,
You have
all
guys
these
on the
guys.
outside looking in that are like just as young. I mean, Cameron Champ won a couple of times this year. Like if he plays well, the
Sam
next couple
Burns is
years,
up
he
and
can make
coming.
it. Sam Burns, you're right. Matthew Wolf, Will
Mhm.
Zalatoris, we mentioned. Even Max Homa starting to win a lot of events. I mean, Max Homa can make his way into
Yeah.
the Ryder Cup.
Xander Schauffele was another guy that we haven't mentioned that just like kind of came. It was kind of almost his coming out party for his personality. He's hilarious.
I'm so glad I'm so glad. Yeah, he had the cigar. He was drinking at high noon, like sliding down
he was
the
at the
hill.
top. He was at the very front of the press conference. He was talking a lot. he was
Which with a
gabbing.
cigar in his mouth the entire time. Like it was awesome.
I mean,
I really think this is the like jump start. Like I know I said the Olympics too. I'm 100% sure actually I said the Olympics, but I think this coming year is going to be a huge year for Xander. I'm talking at least one major. think he's
I
gonna
mean,
win at
and
least
even
one
like this
major.
last year, he didn't win on tour, but like you mentioned, he won the Olympics, he won the Ryder Cup. Like he's kind of Captain
Exactly.
America almost at this point.
He was one of the best he was, besides the loss to Rory in the singles match, he was one of the best players on the team with like
Right.
DJ Morikawa, and which we could talk about Morikawa too. Like he is going to be, I mean, he's unbelievable.
I mean, his just like his
Unbelievable.
approach game is just so special. Like everybody looks at like, oh, Bryson hits the ball so far, but like like as well as Bryson hits it and as far as Bryson hits it, like Morikawa is just as good at like approaching the green. Like he always puts it in
Oh,
close. He always hits the green. It's like it's crazy.
Is it like him versus Rom? I think it will be him versus Rom for years to come in the Ryder Cup. Just those two like dueling out, being like the top two players in the world. Like it's gonna be so much fun for years and years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the
wait.
Ryder Cup is going to be fun for a while, and I'm like I said, I'm excited to see what Europe has, and next time it comes around, it might be a completely different team. But with that, do you guys want to get into the stat of the week? Because there's a bunch of stats here from the Ryder Cup that we
Let's get
have.
into those.
I mean, the first one, the U.S. Won or tied all 5 sessions for the first time since 1967. So that's a long time since they've won
Impressive.
or tied all 5 sessions. And it also is the most points scored by any Ryder Cup team since the Americans began playing continental Europe, which was 1979. So once again, it was just a lot of points. It was a huge lead most of the way. And I mean, pretty much a historic in terms of Ryder Cups based off of the margin of victory. And then we mentioned
anything else we missed.
I mean, Dustin Johnson, 5th player to be 5-0-0 in the Ryder Cup. So he won every match he played in.
Yep.
So that's pretty.
And I think we pretty much covered kind of everyone. Like I guess Jordan Spieth's shot.
Yeah. That was absolutely unbelievable too.
I didn't know what was going on during the broadcast. I was watching it live, obviously, and I was just like, he hit it, and like I had no clue. I saw him running down the thing, and the announcers seemed to think that he hit it backwards. I'm like, is this gonna hit him on the way down to the rocks? First of all, I was like, is he gonna fall into the rocks?
Is he gonna run into the water? Like what's going on?
He's about to dive into Lake Michigan. Oh my god! He's lucky
and JT didn't make the putt coming back, which is like the worst part about that.
Yeah,
they would have won the hole if JT makes the putt. Like
imagine if they I think they were 1 down at that point. Imagine if they'd have that hole and won, like at least have that match and like or won that match if they I don't know what the score was exactly, but like it's like imagine JT makes that putt. That's a hole, and that match is a deciding point in like the Ryder Cup or something like that. Like, if it was a closer Ryder Cup, like that would be unbelievable.
And whatever that
the top tracer on that shot was.
Yeah, just to show you like how good that shot was. Like I'm pretty sure the Americans were in a similar spot on Saturday, I believe, and they had to pick up. Like they went. It was alternate shot. They went to hit like 3 times. They had to pick up. So that was just how amazing that shot was.
Yeah. Jordan didn't play. He didn't play his best, I don't think, but
he had big moments.
He has moments, and he didn't need to. He was kind of like the emotional leader. I think him and JT were kind of like all right, we're gonna start out. We're gonna go first against Rom and Sergio.
Yeah, they were kind of like
they probably weren't the best. Yeah, they probably weren't the best team just because I mean Xander, Cantlay, Morikawa, DJ were like probably the best team on paper, but like they all they had to do was just go out and like show like passion and like do their thing, and they still both played absolutely fine. They could have both gone 4 3 and they still would have won by a lot. So I think they were just more there for leadership if they didn't play, because they didn't play as well as they probably would have hoped to, but they don't care. They won.
Wrap it up for us.
Like, yeah, domination by the US, and it starts a trend that, has not been followed by the past 21 years. The US has won twice since 2000. They won 1999, but then since 2000 they've won twice. I think it starts a new generation of US dominance, and hopefully continues into, and the real test will be, can they do it on away turf?
Yeah, I mean,
until we see Guido come out and just destroy us.
He's built for the Ryder Cup. He was pumped like after every putt at the US Open.
Yeah,
awesome. I can't wait.
Of that guy.
Crowd, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, crazy to think the last 20 or so years we went through the entire Tiger and Phil era, and they only won 2 Ryder Cups.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of crazy to think about.
how much? All right, another last thing, but how much of that is also like, could that be more like Tiger and Phil, or just like being like the alphas or whatever, and just doing like their own thing? Like who? I don't know, but also the
I mean,
teams
that's
are
what
never
could have
nearly
been
as
it.
good as this one.
I mean, I think everybody just kind of like you have Tiger there, and it's tough to play well when Tiger is like
Yeah.
the main guy. Like
Last
Yeah,
thing
you
I
have to
said,
live up to
Imagine-
Tiger. Everybody is behind
Imagine if you're
Tiger.
playing with
Like
Tiger. Imagine if you're playing with Tiger, how much pressure you must feel if you're
yeah,
playing
it's
alternate
almost
shot. You're
double
like,
the
oh,
pressure.
I have to make this putt, like not just for me, but like, or not even just for the team, just like for Tiger. Like I can't let Tiger down. Like that could be a good thing for some people, but a bad thing for a lot of others, I'm sure.
and whatever. And apparently Tiger was actually like quite a bit a part of this Ryder Cup team this year. I mean, he was
I'm sure.
definitely
Texting.
in with Steve Stricker and helped, strategize for this
I'm
Ryder Cup
sure.
apparently. And he texted the team like right before it started. So I mean, Tiger was very much involved.
last thing with the Ryder Cup. It can be quick. Zach Johnson and Phil Mickelson are going to make a hell of a captain whenever they both are one eventually, because they both will be.
Phil will be. I think Phil will be.
They both will be
I,
good.
I cannot wait when Phil
Phil
is
better
a
be a
captain.
captain. Phil better be a captain at Bethpage in 2025. That's all.
Dude, I
I'm
mean,
gonna say.
imagine Phil as the
I think it might
captain
be
for
Zach Johnson.
America and Ian Poulter as the captain for Europe. That would be
Oh, that'd be
insane.
awesome.
My boss was saying that, so she was there day one at the first tee, and she was saying that Zach Johnson was the first person to come out, and by at least a couple of minutes, and he comes out and right immediately, like he's interacting with the crowd, and he's like, he's doing everything like right. It was oh, also Trevor,
Mhm.
another Ryder Cup story that you'd like. There was a guy on the second day who before anybody got there was wearing a Michael Jordan USA jersey, and Michael Jordan was there, and he was there as a fan before anyone had gotten there. And obviously they let in fans way before tee times, and so they the whole crowd was chanting "Sign that jersey" for like 15 minutes, and Michael Jordan like probably didn't really want to do it, but after like 15 minutes of that happening, he finally came over and signed the USA jersey.
So lesson learned: whenever if I go to a Ryder Cup, just wear a Michael Jordan jersey and find him in the crowd.
Michael Jordan jersey. Steph Curry was there. Steph Curry jersey.
Steph Curry, yeah.
Maybe just wear them both. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
That's the overarching statement. That's the overarching lesson of the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So with that being said, there is a golf tournament this week.
There is.
But first, how about a word from Roback?
Yeah, so obviously I was wearing my Roback hat all of today as I was traveling, because of course I had to wear a hat. Jeek's wearing the polo.
I wore my USA Roback hat all weekend.
I mean, yeah, you want to show off the USA pride, celebrate the win. I mean, go over the Roback. They have a couple of polos that are USA themed.
They're really
the hat that's USA
cool.
themed. They have some cool stuff. So click the link in the bio and click on the link. And if you add something to your cart, 15% off.
Yep.
Let's get into skins.
Awesome. Let's get into skins real quick. Course preview with Jeek.
Okay, super quick version of the course preview. We're
Super
playing
quick.
at the Country Club of Jackson. And yeah, key stats: strokes gained putting, strokes gained approach, and previous winners. Sergio Garcia won last year. He actually liked our post when we posted that. I don't know if you guys remember that. Sebastian Munoz, Cameron Champ, Ryan Armour. So with that being said, let's get into the picks.
All right, so I'm gonna go first. There's 5 skins on the line this week. If I win this week, I don't want to say I'm right back in it, but I'm right back in it.
Yeah.
So it's plus 150 is the line.
This week could really decide a lot of things.
If Trev wins,
I think
he takes a 2-stroke lead, 2-skin lead. If Jeek wins, he pretty much takes a commanding lead over everyone. And if I win, I think if balance it out.
I think if Pat loses, I think if Pat doesn't win one of these and one of Jeek and I do, then Pat's like, it's over for Pat.
No.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Let's hope
So that is why I have two kind of contrasting picks, but like they're strategic. But I gotta win. So I decided I am taking Corey Connors, my winner, at 16-1. I have decided, I think not for the podcast, but I think I'm going to take Corey Connors every week this year because I am such a big Corey Connors guy, although he did leave his car a little bit messy at the BMW Championship. And he's a good ball striker. Obviously, Sergio has won it the 2 out of the last 3 years here. And yeah, I'm a big Corey Connors guy. And then my best bet is Mito Pereira plus 160 over Corey Connors. So it was the only matchup bet I could find that was plus 150 or over.
It doesn't
and
make
I
a lot of
actually kind of
sense.
like it if Corey Connors doesn't win. Maybe Mito could actually beat him. I think it'll be close, but I like the value because like plus 160, plus 150 and higher is like tough to do.
Yeah, so
It
Pat's
is.
getting a little desperate here with his bets as he
Yes,
picked
I
the
am.
winner and then picked somebody to
Admittedly.
beat his winner.
I probably
But
said
the player that he picked to beat his winner is the player that I'm going to pick to win. So Mito Pereira, he's 28-1. Due for a win on the PGA Tour. He's a top 10 in 3 out of his last 4. He didn't play a ton of events last year because he was like on the Corn Ferry before he gained full status. But if he did, his strokes gained off the tee would have fell in the top 5. I think strokes gained off the tee is a good stat this week. Just looking at previous winners, Sergio Garcia, Munoz, Champ, all pretty well on off the tee, all pretty good strokes gained off the tee. So Mito Pereira is going to be my winner. And then best bet, I'm going to go with Cameron Davis, top 20. That's plus 180. He was T6 in this event last year, T28 the year before, so he made the cut. Just seems like the type of guy that will play well. He's a good all-around game, pretty good off the tee as well. So I'm gonna go with that.
All right, so I'll go with Taylor Pendrith plus 5,000 is my winner. I think he's top 3 in strokes gained off the tee this season. So one tournament, but to a hot start. And then I'll go with my best bet, Matt Wolff, top 20 plus 180. I think
kind of love that.
Little bit of an extra motivation not being on the Ryder Cup team, and says, all right, you know what? I think I had to pick it up a little bit this year.
I love that.
I think
like that
I
pick
think
a
gets
lot.
off to a hot start. So we'll see if
Could
that
be a first round
goes
leader.
well. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. He's a bomber. If he gets it in the fairway, he can make some damage. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of first round leader, I mean, I went with Brendan Steele. Completely
101.
random.
Yeah,
100
I
to
like
1.
it.
Brendan Steele just feels like a name that could be a first round leader.
I do like that. All right, so that's skins for the week. Obviously, it's not one of the most exciting tournaments on the schedule, but I'm sure we'll talk about it next week as you know, a lot of the big tournaments are over. We're kind of in that swing before we get into, you know, like Shadow Creek and a bunch of those like the Zozo that are actually decent tournaments.
This is kind of weird because this is gonna be the longest time in like 2 years we haven't had a major tournament. Like we had the US Open, the PGA, US Open, and the Masters all in the fall last year. And now we're going to go from Ryder Cup in September to nothing until for 7 months until April, which is that's kind of I didn't think about that really until just now. But that's
I mean, hey,
kind of wild.
We have found something to talk about for 100 straight weeks for about an hour.
Well, I'm excited to bring back some segments. So
yeah,
segments are always great.
Maybe Pin High Golf Course Part 2.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe
Pin High.
December.
Also, let's just say that the hole that we picked on Pin High Golf Course for Whistling Straits,
what a
awesome! That was
awesome.
an incredible hole. What a pick for us.
Every match came down. It seemed like every match basically came down to that hole, and like it was matches were won. That was the true like matches were won and lost on that hole. It was so fun to watch.
Yeah. But let's get in the clubhouse to end the week for the 100th episode.
Yeah, so I mean,
we have a little bit of an announcement.
I'll let you take it away, but we have an announcement to make.
We do have an announcement to make. So as of, it'll be Wednesday, September 29th, Pin High Podcast will further be known as a brand as Pin High Media. And what comes with that? You know, we don't completely know we know we have a kind of a base outline of what we want that to be. We are going to try to get into the merch game. After seeing, some of the limited edition merchandise at the BMW Championship this year, whether it was with brands like Metalwood, with Burning Car Society, Eastside Golf, who you saw Chris Paul repping at the Chargers game this week, and who was the other one? No Laying Up. I think the merch game is something we want to get into. I think our logo is awesome. The flag with the PH. It used to be PHP, but now it's going to be PH because we're no longer just the Pin High Podcast, we're Pin High Media. And I'm really excited to see what we can do with it, because I feel like we have very good ideas for merch. And I feel like not only will our listeners like it, but just like if you're scrolling through Instagram and you see that, something that I would consider if I had no idea what the Pin High Podcast was.
Yeah, and like once again, like the Pin High Podcast is not gone. Like we are,
It's still the Pin High
this still
Podcast.
is the Pin High
What you're
Podcast.
listening to is not called
We
Pin High
just,
Media.
we're the Pin High Podcast presented by Golficity under the Pin High Media brand. So we want to like expand that media brand on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. I mean, all of our new handles are going to be Pin High Media at Pin High Media. So it's going to be easy to find us. We're still the Pin High Podcast here. Still can find the Pin High Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you want. Same old thing. But we do want to expand into a little bit more of a brand rather than just being known as a podcast.
And it might not just be merch. Like, I don't know what it means. It might mean a number of things, whether off the top of my head, just like, I don't know, going out and playing around with like some random good, like not like a professional golfer, but someone in the golf universe that is a big, like an influencer. I don't know, just stuff like that. Like,
right. Yeah.
I mean, the scramble will happen. The scramble will happen this fall. It's happening this fall.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to expand. We definitely want to expand like the YouTube as well. Like I know I was thinking about maybe doing some top 10s on YouTube or doing some kind of like short segments on YouTube that like people could watch, a short 5-minute video and then maybe go to the podcast and listen to the podcast.
Another thing that I think would be cool for big tournaments is having an Instagram live, like on Wednesdays, where we just like talk about, the betting and just the outlook for the tournament. I don't know, just like stuff like that. And then we post
right. I mean, there's endless opportunity here. I feel like, we didn't want to limit ourselves as just being branded as a podcast. I think we could be way more than that. So from now on, we're Pin High Media, and this is still the Pin High Podcast, but
we are still you are listening to the Pin High Podcast presented by Golficity right now.
Pin High Podcast presented by
Pin High Media presented by Golficity. Except we won't be saying presented by
we might have to workshop that, but yeah.
It's like the assistant to the general.
Is it?
Yeah.
Something, the assistant manager.
But yeah, no, we're excited about the future. Episode 100. We're 100 episodes through. I mean, hopefully we keep this going. I mean, we haven't missed a week, which was pretty incredible.
Like, people have missed weeks. Like,
schedules.
I had my tonsils out and was not able to speak.
But like, just in general, the podcast has stayed going, which is, the last podcast we didn't. So
the last podcast we did, which we won't name, lasted about, we were doing it twice a week though. We had 15 episodes, I think. I think all I talked about on it was literally I feel like I talked about like just random stuff. Just
all I remember was the Family Guy gif of the train.
Yeah. No, we don't need to get into that.
And then like whatever. The whole and one of the great things about Pin High Media is we don't necessarily always have to be golf. I mean, we could do something that doesn't involve golf potentially. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Never thought about it like that, Cheek, until just now. It really just like it broadens our horizon, which is very exciting as we move into the real world as adults, because we're all Cheek and Trevor's still 22, right? Yeah.
23.
Anything else about Pin High Media that we need to cover?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you guys have ideas for Pin High Media,
number one favorite moment of the 100 episodes.
Ooh.
off the top of your head?
I
'Cause
mean,
just thought
the
of that
best one the best one to think about is Joe Acava. I mean, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's
And we
that's
definitely want
really up
we
there.
definitely want to do something more of that, have some more guests and stuff. I mean, like it's tough with our schedules. It's 11:27 right now on a Monday night, but like having more guests would be cool.
10:27 in
Joe
Wisconsin.
Acava was pretty fun.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I think honestly, like I was talking about this earlier with like my coworkers, like when we just talked about random stuff during quarantine, like the Pin High
It was just
golf course. Like that was just us talking just about anything in the golf world. It wasn't
I mean,
just
yeah,
like there was
we'll
no
have
golf to talk
we'll have a
about.
couple episodes like that coming up the next few weeks. I'm
Yeah,
sure. A lot of
possibilities
opportunity
are
here.
endless.
Yeah, exactly.
Endless.
yeah.
We're just getting started.
So what do we got next week? Do we have anything better than the
God
Sanderson?
knows what.
Let's look real quick. Goes the Sanderson,
The Shriners,
the Shriners. Okay, so
TPC
no.
Summerlin,
Yeah.
a big PGA Tour 2K
Oh yeah.
golf course.
Where's
Yeah.
this one?
So
Las
I'll
Vegas.
let you
I do
guys
remember that
on the
one.
East Coast go to bed. I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
you,
go to bed.
you guys have to be up early. I have to be up early as well. But yeah, 100th episode, big announcement, Pin High Media. Stay tuned, and I'm sure we'll have some merchandise out for you, within the next weeks, couple months, whatever it is. I'm not sure it's all very new to us, but I know it's going to be good. So we'll see you next week, and maybe we'll have a little bit of an update on the progress.